Hi everybody, and it's time for Uber Grace Way. I think this is 126. There's loads more where this came from. Anyway, for Christmas, which is a little time ago now, my daughter bought me a rather splendid book. And this is it, and it's probably in reverse there for you, special. But it's called The Devil's Atlas. Not quite as insidious as it sounds. But it's a fantastic book that kind of charts loads and loads of ideas and ancient ideas. I'm going to put it down. Ancient ideas of hell, purgatory, and heaven. And I mean, it looks at Egyptian ones, it looks at Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Sumerian, Mesopotamian, Mesoamerican ones. Incredible array. It's a really good book. There's lots of pictures, and I like books with lots of pictures. But loads of research done. Biggest section is on all the different hells. And I was reading this earlier this year. It took me a little while to get through it because there's loads of really good research in it. And it's just incredible how similar all of these ideas are from all these different ancient cultures, all about what happens in some kind of afterlife, the post-mortem life, what's happening next. And you know that I've spoken quite a lot, especially, you know, in the first few dozen videos, a lot about why hell isn't really what the Bible is talking about, and the gospel has nothing to do with avoiding hell. And it's really interesting to me reading this book and doing all the research through it, that it's like, wow, man, mankind way back in the time was really desperate to try and make sense of what happens next, the punishments that were brought up. Because obviously if you go to hell, you're naughty, you've sinned in some way, and so all these terrible things, unless you make yourself righteous, and then you avoid them and you go to all these lovely heavenly things. And it's all, you get the real impression when you read them all at once. You know, I read it in over a few weeks, but when you read them all, you get a picture. Actually, it almost puts our ancient Christian beliefs, which developed into a belief in hell, but it wasn't what the early church taught. It's fascinating actually to see that in context of how people want to control people. I mean, it came from an idea, I think, that how do we keep society sane, and how do we keep them from killing one another, and we threaten them with what happens next, and people become really convinced about what's going to happen if you're good and bad and all that. Oh, they did Norse gods, Norse hell, Greek hell, the lot in the book. And of course, the word hell wasn't really around until, you know, years and, you know, centuries and centuries after Christ. In the Old Testament, the word that's used for the place of the grave is just Sheol. They had no concept. One of the only ancient peoples that didn't have any concept of some kind of torturous, eternal torture chamber forever. It was only when the Jewish people went off to Babylon and then got taken over by the Persians and all their ideas, the Zoroastrian ideas, that they came back with any kind of idea of this sort of hell concept. Jesus comes along into that, and obviously he's correcting an awful lot of stuff that the Jews had got themselves into. And of course, like I've said many, many times, his main thrust is changing the way you think, because the royal power of the heavens, the universe, is within you. It's not out there. And actually, he never used the word hell. Only in the English translations is the word hell there. In the ancient translations, it's all about Sheol or Gehenna, Hades, and Tartarus. What he's doing is he's referencing a lot of the time, to make another point, he's referencing these pagan Greek Zoroastrian ideas while he's trying to get the Jewish mindset straight. When Jesus came, a large part of his message was, you can be free from any fear of a hell or after you die. That was one of his messages, you know. And we've turned that perversely, when we turned it into a religion, once the Roman imperial government took over Christianity and turned it into this religion, it suddenly became a big thing that hell is there. But before that it wasn't. To read this book was a real eye-opener. It's not a Christian book at all. So you think, oh, well, you know, well, forget that. It's good research done, and it's just showing you this is what these believed, this is what these believed, this is the paintings and the artwork that was created. This is what the medieval people like Dante did with his several circles of hell and just went overboard on it. And at the end of the day, it's not in the scriptures. It's not in the scriptures. Yes, I know the word hell, particularly if you use that awful King James translation, it's in there a lot. But actually, if you go back to the Greek and not the Latin put hell in, and that's why King James, that just copied the Latin Bible, has got it in. But the early Greek stuff and the Hebrew writings don't have it there. It's a very pagan idea to try and make sense of the world. When Jesus came, he was setting us free from the idea that we have to be fearful of being somewhere awful for eternity. He was concentrating on life now, changing the way we think and releasing those good thoughts into our lives. The keys of the universe, the keys of the kingdom of heaven, the keys of the royal power of the universe are that if you just let what you let out, you hold back what you hold back. That's it. It's as simple as that. Anyway, I thought that was a cracking book, and it really opened my eyes, actually, to a lot of this stuff, you know, how crazy it is and what we've turned the Jesus movement into. Right. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy that. Please comment, please like, please share, and please follow if you're not following. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.